before you I could ever change her. Every time you look up to the sky, realize that you are only looking in the mirror.
Hello, welcome back to another episode of Authentic Amigas. My name is Valerie.
And I'm Florencia. Thank you for tuning in and listening with us to episode 21 of Authentic Amigas Podcast. We're so happy to have you here. Today's episode is super special for multiple reasons. First of all, we have a very special guest on, but also today is our season finale of our first season of Authentic Amigas.
Yeah, so this is our very last episode of season 1, and it's kind of an emotional one, but for like the best reasons possible. Like Best Friend said, we have a super special guest with us here today who's been with us since the beginning of Authentic Amigas, since the beginning of the pandemic, and who has been such a support system for us and just loving energy all around. We also want to take the time real quick to thank you guys listening for being here with us. It's been a crazy season 1, lots of learning experiences, lots of learning curves, but we're really excited to come back with season 2. Hopefully better audio, better visuals, better content overall, as we are now departing from this year-long pandemic that has brought a lot for a lot of people, but we're very excited. Thank you guys so much for being here with us.
Like Val said, we have so much new content planned, so hopefully this little break gives y'all the opportunity to catch up on old episodes. That's what I'm going to be doing. So like we said, we have a very special guest on today's episode, our very good friend, Maribel. Maribel, welcome. Thank you for being here with us. She has many roles. There's lots of things that she does well. First of all, she is the CEO at Authentica Candle Co., one of my favorite businesses to shop and support. She also has her own podcast called Authentic Living. You're a college grad, a dog mom, and honestly, one of the most amazing friends and supportive people that we have in our circle at Authentic Amigas. So thank you for being here with us.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, well, thank you for bringing your beautiful face on today. We always start, as is tradition here on Authentic Amigas, whenever we have a guest, just to kind of get things going and so that our audience can kind of get to know everybody. We start with an icebreaker question. So we have two questions. I'll start with the first one. Maribel, a skill that you would like to develop. What's one skill or talent maybe that you have that you really want to develop, whether it be this year or the next 10 years, whatever it is?
A skill that I would like to develop, I think would probably be my photography. I like photography, but I think that there's just so much to learn. But yeah, I think that's one of the first skills that comes to mind because, yeah, I think photography can be used in so many different ways.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. And do you do it kind of for fun, or I'm sure your skills come in handy a lot with your businesses.
So I like to take pictures. I don't know, it's kind of weird, not so much myself, but of other things like my candles, for example. Mm-hmm. So yeah, and I think when it comes to photography, it's been something that I've kind of been interested in since high school. It's something that I never fully pursued, but it's always kind of been there as an interest.
I love that. And might I add, your content, chef's kiss.
Honestly.
Oh my God. You don't miss. There's no post that misses. It all hits. So amazing talent.
Oh, thank you.
For sure.
That means a lot.
Well, okay. So I have another question for you, and I'm going back and forth in my head because I have a fun random question, and then I have more of not a serious question, but more of a little bit more serious. So which one do you prefer?
Ooh. Let's see. Surprise me. I'm an open book.
Okay, you know what? Let's get a little deep then. Who would you say, or who's somebody that you would say is a role model to you, and why?
Ooh, okay. Someone that's a role model to me, I would say just the first person that comes to mind is my mom. She, was like a single mother growing up, and just like really raised me to like, be hardworking, like don't stop when there's obstacles in life. And so, yeah, that's probably the first person that I think of. And she's just been like a really strong, just like model in my life of a lot of the characteristics that I want to have. And yeah.
I love that. And honestly, it hella shows, because your work ethic is really, really inspiring, to say the least. Like hella inspiring to see how you grind. And I mean, we mentioned you own a business, which we can't wait to get into, because we have so many questions and we want to know more about it, more behind the scenes of what it is, your beautiful baby. But you also have a full-time job, right? Aside from
Yeah. I work in healthcare, and basically it's contracting, and it's something that I enjoy, but it's definitely not my passion. But yeah, I work in healthcare right now, just helping people be able to see doctors a little more easily. So yeah.
Okay.
That's awesome. And honestly, you are a boss for juggling it all. It's a lot of work. I've been in that position as well, where you have to, a full-time commitment, and that's what pays your bills. And ultimately that's what funds your dream as well,
Right.
while your baby gets, on its feet. So
Yeah.
honestly, that's such a boss move, making that work for you. And I can't wait to see, like Val said, we're going to get into talking a little bit about your business, which I'm super excited. I'm like so stoked to talk about.
Let's get into it. Let's get into it. I'm ready.
Yeah. So I love that you started by talking about your mom as somebody that you really look up to, and has served as a role model in your life. So I guess that kind of leads us into one of the first questions that I really wanted to ask you today, which is with Authentic Candle Co. What inspired your business, or what motivated you to start this? Because you started during the pandemic, right?
Yeah, I did. I think what inspired it was I was just kind of looking for, like a hobby during like the pandemic. And then it all really started with the podcast, actually. So that podcast, I would classify it as kind of like a self-help podcast, just talking about like life experiences, very, very similar to like some of the topics you guys have talked about. Like I can absolutely resonate with them. And that's why I love your podcast so much, and you guys. And I think that's where it really started, was I kind of had to sit down with myself and say, okay, what does self-care and taking care of myself really look like? And I thought that candles have always been a part of my life. My family would always go to Bath and Body Works and buy all their candles on sale, and they've just always been there. And when I feel like I need to like clear my space, that's kind of the first thing that I go to. And that was something that I really wanted to share with other people. And then once I kind of did like the research, and I saw just like the potential with having a candle business and some of the stuff that you could do, I just kind of went for it. It was one of those like 2-3 a.m. Pinterest type of things. And yeah, I just haven't really looked back since.
Oh, that's awesome. That's so inspiring to just kind of take, what you said is like something that has served you and something that you've really enjoyed, and then to say like, okay, I want to give this experience to somebody else. Is candle making and your podcast, are those two practices that you kind of took up for fun and then became a business, or like when you started, you knew right away that it was going to be a business?
Yeah. So with the podcast, I started that for fun because I love to talk. So I was like, okay, I kind of need an outlet. And then the more that I did it, I was like, okay, I can see this going somewhere. And then came the business. I didn't really have that in mind when I first started, but yeah, it just kind of grew from the podcast, I guess you could say.
Oh, I see. And so how has starting a business during the pandemic especially like you said, one of those like 2-3 a.m. thoughts that kind of just came organically. Like, what have been some of the challenges that you've faced? Because obviously, you know, we all have like great ideas, and like you said, we find inspiration and we have a vision, but then, you know, you actually get into making it happen, and you realize that there's a lot of times a lot of challenges or things that you have to learn to do that are brand new to you. So what have been for you some of the biggest challenges or the biggest things that you've had to overcome like throughout your journey becoming a business owner?
Yeah. So, this is my first business. So since I think day one, I've just been learning, everything, like, you know, building your business from the ground up. I mean, you both have had businesses, and I'm sure, you know, like just how much goes into it, like on the back end of things. So I've really just been kind of working through like, okay, marketing, how to connect with people better. And I think that was kind of where the struggle was for me, was how I was going to like really connect with people during the pandemic, because I know that, you know, it's especially hard right now to like connect with people, but through things like, you know, social media, through, you know, like Zoom calls, and doing like in-person events that are obviously, you know, like social distance, you have to wear a mask. That has kind of been something that I've had to work through, is just how to reach people a little bit better. Because at the end of the day, like, yeah, it is a business, but for me, it's so much more than that. Like it's about community and uplifting other people. So I really wanted to kind of shine that through and find a way that I could do that. But yeah. And then I think another thing is that a lot of people were a little bit hesitant to, you know, either like purchase a candle or like ask me questions because it wasn't in person. I've had a lot of people tell me, you know, I love your candles, I would just want to smell them. So that was kind of one of the struggles I had to work through, was how to make, I guess, like an experience out of it, if that makes sense. So yeah, I think in-person events have been something that's really kind of helped me overcome that, and like meeting other candle makers and getting ideas from them and stuff like that.
That's amazing how you were able to adapt so quickly to that, you know, I don't want to say a problem, but that certain like scenario that you saw come up in your business where you're like, okay, I see that this is something that we need to work on. And right away you were able to adapt, because I noticed that pretty early. You were one of the businesses that, you know, like we started our businesses kind of around the same time period, I feel. And you were one of the first businesses that I noticed that took that leap of faith and said, like, I'm gonna go out there in the pop-ups and I'm gonna make this happen. And I'm gonna do what I gotta do. And it was, again, so we're gonna probably keep referring to you as inspiring, but that's because you are. That was super inspiring to see you hustle like that. And it's crazy, like how quick is that? Like part of the reason why you started doing pop-ups is because you saw that, or
yeah, that. And also, one of my friends, her name's Grace. She has her own like jewelry business. It's called Gemini Sunco. And I always I try to do like collaborative stuff with her. And her and I actually started our businesses on the same exact date. So like we kind of helped each other with like marketing stuff, taking pictures. And then I think one of the first flea markets I ever went to, I think I saw on TikTok, and then I applied and they offered kind of like a shared booth type of thing. And I went with her, and it was just, after that, I was just like, wow, I really like being able to connect with people in person. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Like, it was super scary having like, you know, all my products out on the table just for people to come and look at. And yeah, the first pop-up that I had was really intimidating. But after, I think just going for it that first time, and being able to talk to people in person about, you know, like your whole brand, I think it was I wouldn't say like an addiction or anything. That's like a really strong word, but it was really fun, like to be able to do that. And it was almost like I was just feeding off of other people's energy. And it was almost like an energy, like high, like it made me want to go to more pop-up events and stuff like that.
Yeah. Might I add, 562 is like an exclusive event, girl. Like not just anyone could be a vendor there. Trust me, I've tried. I'm like, no, you have to apply. It's a whole process, you guys, where you have to apply.
Definitely.
So many people apply because it's a pop-in event. So the fact that you were there too, and that was your first event, says so much about your business and what you do out into the world.
Yeah, definitely. I want to add to that as well, you know, like what you say about like fueling you and giving you more motivation to keep going. I think that's the beauty of these events, and it's something that you've had to adapt to as a business owner. Like everybody who owns a business right now has had to adapt to it. So like Val said, there has been a lot of demand for things like farmers markets, flea markets, outdoor markets, because that's what we can do right now during the pandemic. So I can't wait to see how you continue to take off now that things are getting like somewhat normal, quote unquote, again, like where we'll be able to do this more often and new opportunities are going to continue bringing themselves to
definitely. Yeah. I'm excited. I eventually would like to have like some kind of workshop where I, like invite people over, either, like if it's like a close group of friends or something, like over to my house, or even finding like a space where I could teach people how to make candles, and we could even like make candles. It can be like maybe even like a brunch type of thing, but I definitely
candle making, girl. I'm like, let me invest in that.
I know, seriously.
That would be so good. Oh my God, imagine all the girls making candles being taught by the queen herself while on mimosas.
No, seriously. Yeah, no, there's no limit. And I love that you're not limiting yourself to like, okay, I just make the candles and sell them. Like, I love that your vision expands to, like you said, you want to inspire other people. And it's like, it's something that you want to use to uplift other people and to give an experience to other people. So I'm really happy to see that you're not limiting yourself to just say like, okay, I just make the candles and then I sell them. Like, I want it to be bigger than this. And I want to give other people this experience that I have. Whether it be like something therapeutic or something that is a creative outlet for you, whatever it is. I'm really excited to see that. And back to what you said about uplifting and inspiring, I guess you answered my next question, but so is there like a certain message that you want people to receive when they see your candles or when they see your podcast? I know you said it's kind of like an uplifting or like self-empowerment, self-help sort of vibe. Is there anything else that like really that you want to commit to like very strongly in everything that you do, or any other message you want to drive home?
I think it's really it just kind of circles back to self-care for me, and being able to share, like the love that I put into the candles with other people. But yeah, that's basically the message behind the candle business, is that I want to just uplift other people and remind people that, like self-care is important, and it's something that I definitely think everyone should prioritize in their life. And, hopefully my candles are a part of that person's self-care or self-care journey. But yeah.
Well, I love that you're bringing this up, because this is like the perfect transition to what we want to talk about next with you, because we both feel like you're an advocate for self-love, and you've always been. I mean, so a little behind, like we didn't really talk about it too much, but Maribel and I went to high school together. Right? You were a year younger?
Yeah.
You're younger. Okay.
Yeah.
And I feel like we did talk in high school. I think we've talked a little bit, but I think our relationship has developed more post high school.
Yeah.
And I think those relationships personally have been the most important to me, because I'm like the girl in high school, I don't recognize her. I don't know if you feel the same way, but I'm like, I don't know her. If you knew me in high school, no, you didn't. Like if you knew us in high school, no, you didn't. So it's really been an honor, like watching you just blossom into this beautiful queen that really is like I said, an advocate for self-love through your post, through your podcast, through your business, through everything that I do. I don't even like know if you like intentionally imply like self-love in everything you do, but you do. And you just radiate that. So a question that I really wanted to ask you was, what does like self-love look like to you? Like for you, for Maribel, what does self-love look like?
Mm-hmm. I think when I think of self-love, I think of accepting, and I'll just speak from, like a personal level, accepting myself on like the good and the bad days, and understanding that at the end of the day, I'm human, doing the best that I can. And I think just showing myself grace, because I, just like a little bit of backstory, I guess, into like my self-care journey and my self-love, is that I've always been like my hardest critic. And that's something that I'm still working on to this day. And so I'm always, like the first one to kind of like, just be hard on myself. And I think I just kind of realized how like hard that was for my mental health, and that it really wasn't getting me anywhere. So I think just trying to shift that, like negative self-talk into uplifting myself. And I saw just like the difference that it made in my life and how it made me feel encouraging other people. So yeah, I think for self-care and self-love, when I think of it, it's just accepting myself for where I'm at, like not rushing the process, because when it is my time and like when things are meant to happen, they will.
Yeah. And I love everything about that, because I think oftentimes we're always like, I'm speaking for myself right now, where I'm like, once I lose X amount of weight, I'm going to treat myself to this. Or once I dye my hair and fix my roots, I'm going to take pictures of myself, because that's when I'm going to be my most beautiful. And I love that you said like taking that negativity out of like my language, because negativity like can really, I feel like, grab your words. Like when I picture like negativity and like the way I like speak and express myself, I feel like these are my words, and negativity is like clouding it and just like holding on to my words. And then, like everything I say and everything I think and everything I feel is therefore going to be negative because of that. So I really love that you said just removing the negative and just speaking of yourself in a higher way, and how that's going to shift your life. What are some ways that you feel like you changing that narrative, right, from like negative and talking maybe down on yourself, and changing that to positive and light and bright? Have you seen any changes in your life since doing that?
Yeah, I definitely think that like with self-care, that starts within, and that's going to reflect out to the world, out to, our circle. And I think something that I can say that has, improved in my life since is that I'm surrounded by so many people that like inspire me and are constantly just like uplifting me and supporting me. The two of you are included in that circle heavily.
Hold on. I'm like, girl, we're sensitive here. I'm like, we cry
seriously.
on podcasts all the time.
Like we cry in every episode, Maribel.
And your podcasts have made me cry too. So I'm right there with you. But yeah, I think that's been one of the main changes, is that I have seen it kind of transform not only myself, but it's like my circle as well, because I feel like if I'm feeling good inside, if I'm encouraged, and it's not an easy process at all. It's like something that I definitely work on daily, but I I feel like if, we're good inside, that we're going to reflect that on the outside. So yeah, it's definitely affected, myself, but also my circle. So
Yeah. Yeah, because you start attracting like who you are, right? They always say like you attract
Yeah,
people
absolutely.
like you. So once you start thinking of yourself as like higher, as amazing, as beautiful, that's what you start attracting. And really I agree with you, because ever since I've been working, self-love is a journey, and I think Flo and I always try to emphasize that it's a journey. It's not an overnight thing where you wake up and you're like, okay, I look beautiful today, self-love, check. Like, no, it takes years, and it's a daily activity. You brush your teeth and you look in the mirror and you tell yourself you're beautiful. Like, it's a daily thing you have to do. But I've also noticed as well that ever since I've flipped the narrative, or I've tried to flip the narrative, like, I met Flo, I've met you, like, we've gotten closer. We've met a while ago, but we've gotten closer, and we've stayed in each other's lives, because I feel like I've lost so many people, not lost, but disconnected to so many people that I went to high school with. Very few people, I think I can count them on one hand, the people that I still talk to that I went to high school with, and you're one of them. And it's crazy that we're here right now and you're saying this, because I feel the same, for sure.
Yeah.
What's something that you're like, because back, the candles, you said that a big reason why you started making candles and producing candles is because it was part of your self-love experience. What are other things that you do to show your self-love, to show your self-appreciation?
I think making time for something that I enjoy, just even if it's, like going to grab a coffee, or like doing yoga in the morning. I think it doesn't always look the same every day, because I've kind of learned to listen to my body more. So there will be some mornings where, like, for example, I'll wake up and I feel like super stiff, and I'm just like, okay, I need to do some type of yoga. Or I feel really like clouded. And so I'm like, okay, I need to meditate. I think just taking the time to prioritize what I feel like my body needs in the moment is like kind of my self-care. But definitely candles are in there. Like every day I'm lighting candles.
I'm like, you got Flo on that too. I'm like, Flo, show him the candle.
No, seriously. You know what? I always have a candle, almost always in the background whenever I'm in my room. I pretty much always have a candle, but when I'm on the podcast, I always have, you can always see it because we're in my room. And I'm burning one of Authentic Amigas Co's candle today. Little plug for one of my favorite businesses to support. Also one of my favorite scents, it's the mahogany teakwood wood. I think it was a winter one only, right?
Yeah.
Y'all are gonna have to catch it next winter because it's one of the best. But you also have spring collection coming, so I'm sure there's so much goodness packed into there, and I can't wait because I've been running through all my winter scents. I'm a candle fiend, so let me just go off real quick. I've been running through all my winter scents. I cannot wait to like start getting some of the spring summer things that you have planned. So I'm super excited. Another thing I wanted to say before the thought leaves my mind, right now that you were saying self-care, self-love looks different. It's a different practice for you every day. And then you mentioned like some days I need to stretch, some days I need to treat myself to like a cup of coffee somewhere. Oh my gosh, you just started Maribel. If you don't follow Maribel on Instagram, maybe you should, because you just started the coffee series on your Instagram stories, and I can't tell you how excited, like you read my mind. You knew what I needed to see. This is the content I signed up for. I'm so excited for that. So what's your plan with that? Are you gonna like try different coffee shops in the area, or I'm like, can I come? Like,
So that kind of stemmed from like I love coffee, but and I have like 3 different Starbucks by my house, but I'm like ever since I started a small business, especially that we're in the pandemic, I'm like, no, like I feel like small businesses do it so much better. I'm like, there's so much like heart put into there, so much more thought. It's not like a franchise or generic. And So I started looking up, like coffee shops in my area, and there's a lot out here. So that kind of started from that. And then also there was a coffee shop in Azusa. I think it's called Mantra Coffee. And it was a couple months ago. They like made a post on their Instagram saying basically that they needed help to like keep their business alive. And so I just thought, like, okay, let me go to this coffee shop. And then I was like, no, I think more people should like know about small coffee shops. So that's kind of where that came from. It was just a little thing I wanted to start up because I love coffee. I know so many people do. And I feel like there's so much better coffee than Starbucks out there.
No, you're so right. And I think you're definitely right about the first thing that you said about small businesses just do it better. They just do it different. And one of the things that we were kind of touching on is, when you go within and when you focus on loving you and on healing you and on improving you, then somehow you start to attract other people who are focused on doing the same thing and who like you pour into their cup and they pour into your cup,
Right.
And so one of the things that we also wanted to touch on with you today is finding that network of people. So, like you said, one of the ways is by focusing on you. You also said, going to pop-ups has been a really great source of inspiration for you. And it's also been a great way that you've connected with other people. But how else have you found that? Or what tips do you have for somebody who says, I need to find my community? Do you feel like you've found like a community of people like that, or you're still working on that? Sorry, that was a lot of questions.
Oh, no, you're good. I think I'm definitely still kind of working on, like building that community, because I think that there are so many small businesses that are just so supportive of each other. And I think that's something that's been like really encouraging for me as well, just being new to having a business. I mean, it's been like, it'll be 6 months, April 1st. So almost to 6 months, but it's just, being a part of that like small business community has really been just like inspiring, but I definitely feel like I'm still trying to like find my niche, I guess. But I have, like I mentioned earlier, just some of the most supportive friends and just circle that I'm already so thankful for. I think it's just like building that community through my business, not so much like people who know me personally, but yeah.
that is really actually crazy to me how small businesses, right? We're so small, and we still, like, when you're a small business owner, you have to be the marketing director, you have to be the content creator, you have to be the design maker, you have to be the customer service rep, you have to be everything, like the accountant, like A through Z, and we still find time to support one another, right? And it's so inspiring. We should probably call this episode inspiring, but it's really so inspiring to see how loving people are and how supportive people are, because the world can be pretty gloomy, and this past year was gloomy to say the least. But to still have those people that are willing to just lend some love, even through a screen, even through a phone screen, like it means everything. And I'm going to say it again, but I'm so grateful for you. And I'm so thankful for you. Because I remember at one point, I think I don't remember if Flo and I were doing a live or it was just me on live, but you were on live and you were so engaged with it. And I remember thinking, like, I know she has so much to do. Like, I already know she has so much, and she's here being engaged with me and listening to what I have to say. And you were asking like how I was doing and how I was coping with the pandemic, and ways that, what ways I was like, in what way I was like, I forgot. I think you asked me if I was gardening. I think we brought up gardening. I'm trying to like remember. Maybe it was with best friend. But anyway, you took the time to reach out to me. And I think I'm also working on building a community and building a network. But to me, that right there is community. That right there,
Yeah.
you literally just you and I, if it's just you and I, that already feels like community to me. So you already honestly have started a community. You have
Oh.
definitely started your own community. I'm part
Oh, thank you.
of the community queen for sure.
Well, I just want to tell you that honestly, the both of you have been just super like inspiring for me as well. I think because I think you started your business like before me. And so I saw that and I was just like, wow, she's really out here doing it. And honestly, you were one of the like pivotal people that I was like, okay, I can do it. Like you've been like such a good example. And I think, yeah. And I think like even through this podcast, I've just been able to see like both of like your hearts and, you know, like how much you care for other people. And yeah, you two are just like, you two are just as inspiring for me. Trust me.
I'm like, girl, I said we're sensitive. Remember, we'll cry. No, thank you. I know that means a lot to Flo and I. Like seriously, as soon as we log off, we're going to like spend 5 minutes crying over this. Like, it happens every time somebody compliments us like this on a podcast. We're like, because we don't know how to accept these things. I think we're working on it. And then, you know, we're like, oh my God. Yeah. So it's going to be a whole show after, but
yeah, no, seriously. Well, honestly, like Val said, just you and I, or just the three of us, or just whoever's listening, the four of us is it can be community, you know. Like Val said, it's about what I said earlier, you know. I pour into your cup and you pour into mine, and we grow together, you know. A lot of times people talk about like, you know, like networking, and they think of it as like knowing higher ups, but horizontal networking is where it's at, right. You know. And if we can all grow together, as long as we're all pushing one another, as long as we're genuinely supporting one another, as long as, you know, to borrow Authentica Candle Co. and Authentic Amigas word, as long as it's authentic and inspiring, I think honestly, I can't think of a more like priceless thing, you know. So yeah, thank you so much, Maribel. And we're so like Val said, we're so happy to have you on here. Honestly, I don't think we've stressed enough this episode how much, like, yes, we talked about your business, but just how great of a friend you are as well. So thank you so much for being here and sharing with us a little bit about your business story, which, you know, like you said, we're barely not even at the 6-month mark yet.
That's
so
crazy.
Right.
I thought for some reason you and I had started similar times, like, because I'm about to be a year in May. So in May I'll be 1 year. So right now when you said 6 months, I said, girl, she's only 6 months and you've done so much in 6 months.
Seriously.
Oh, thank you. That means so much.
Yeah, the story is already like, it's already a novel at this point, because you have had your pop-ups, you've had all of your collections, and again, back to the community, you know, that's already, I feel like that's already such a fruitful and successful business. So this is only the beginning of the story. And we always say with everybody that we have on here, we need to have you back again in 6 months. Hopefully you're not too busy at that time with everything you got going on. But we'll have to have you back one day so that you can tell us about the next half of your story. You know, we're so excited.
Oh yeah, I will come back next week. I will come back anytime. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, I'm like Authentic Amigas for life. Like, I have my stickers right here. I got them on deck.
She said, I'm gonna plug you guys. She said, I'm gonna do the work for y'all. Oh, thank you. Well, is there anything that you want to tell the people, anything we should know more about, or anything that's coming up for you, anything that you want to share, any last thoughts, literally anything? If you're like, girl, I'm hungry, I want whatever it is, what's going through your mind, anything you want to share.
What do you want the people to know?
Yeah, what do you want the people to know?
Well, first off, thank you so much for having me. It was an honor for me just to be able to talk with you two and, you know, like be on here and talk about self-love. I think something that I just want people to take away from, you know, like this podcast, like on my end, is that, you know, we're literally going through a pandemic right now. like we are surviving. We have found ways to, like persevere through it and, like build connections and make it work. And we are resilient, and just this year and the past year, I just would hope that everyone can take it, as a learning experience, and that we grow from it. And I hope things get better and we're able to do this kind of stuff in person soon. But yeah. And then let's see, like as for the business, I have like my spring stuff coming out. Actually this Sunday I've been like prepping for that. So I'm really excited. Yeah, I'm going to like take pictures tomorrow. So yeah, I'm very excited about that. Yeah. But yeah, that's really it. Just that launch coming up. And then in the future, I would love to be able to like host pop-ups and stuff like that for other small businesses. Just because, yeah, I love to support in any way that I can. I love to support because I know how much just how much work people put into their crafts, and people's time is so precious. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, count us there. I'm like, you haven't invited us, but I'm like, we just invited ourselves. I'm like,
you're there.
No, if you ever need anything, just know you can count on the both of us. We have such deep admiration and love for you. So you already know.
And I'll be there for the mimosas.
Me too. That whenever you start that, like I said, call me. I'm an investor at this point because that sounds great. No, we love you. Thank you so much. Where can they find you? What are your ads? What are your socials? Where can they find Maribel and your baby?
So my Instagram for my candle company is Authentica Candle Co. It's all one word. It's spelled in Italian. So there, a lot of people, I guess, don't catch that sometimes, that it's not spelled in like Spanish. So it's Authentica, just without the H. And then my podcast is Authentic Living Podcast on Instagram. That's something that's like been more in the works lately. I haven't posted a podcast in a minute, but I'm definitely like working on that, and just seeing like how consistent the two of you are as well with your podcast is just, it's inspiring me to go for it. But I just need to like find the right time, because I've had like life transitions and stuff like that I kind of want to talk about, but I want to just word it correctly, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are my two social medias.
Yeah, go follow. You already know she has a spring collection coming out this Sunday. Go check it out, and we'll definitely link her socials as well. So make sure to click on those and check them out. Maribel, we're so grateful for you. We're so grateful for your time, your energy, your presence, your beauty. We love you. You're a queen. Keep hustling.
I love you both too so much.
I'm like I said, I'm sensitive.
I'm like, same.
Oh, thank you so much. Hey guys, if you haven't followed us yet, which you probably already are at this point, we are at Authentic Amigas everywhere, every single social media platform, from TikTok to Instagram to Twitter. You can find us everywhere at Authentic Amigas. Best friend, where can they find our personals?
You can find Val at Valerie Pamela. Find her business at just Valerie Pamela. And you can find me at Florencia Galvan. We're all everywhere as well.
Yeah, you can find our big kids everywhere. But yeah, we appreciate you guys listening. Thank you for being here for season 1. Holy crap, it's been a journey, but look at us. We're here. We made it. Go back and listen to all our episodes. We will be back in a couple of weeks with new content, better content, and we cannot wait to get to connect with you guys again.
Yeah, and thank y'all for tuning in, and thank you again, Maribel, and we'll catch y'all in season 2.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.